Guys, I don't know how to feel about this because Alexander Isak, for my money, is the best striker in the Premier League as it stands. I put him above Erling Haaland. I really do. How does he? 25. I think he's magnificent. And Arsenal and Liverpool are going head-to-head for his signature, apparently. Should Chelsea be going for him? Would it stop us from building elsewhere? Is it the right... can we or should we be going for these Galacticos? Have we stopped doing that, or are we going to continue to do that? I'm a little bit confused, and I want to sort of talk through it today. Alexander Isak, less sexy alternatives, like, Liam Delap, etc., etc. I'm really not interested in Seshko as time goes on. And elsewhere, because rebuilding, we've heard we are going to spend money in the summer transfer market. My video yesterday, I broke down a conservative, what I deem conservative sales figures of what Chelsea could generate in player sales, and that's without selling the likes of Brugge, without selling Carney Chukwuemeka. It's a lot of money. So, Romano has reported Chelsea will, quote, spend important money on the centre forward going into the summer, and he's also reported that Arsenal and Liverpool are going for Isak, which, fair enough, but I just feel uncomfortable with it because whoever gets him is going to be, if it's Arsenal, I just feel like Arsenal might win the league. I don't know if necessarily Liverpool will, because I feel like maybe Salah will go, and I really don't know. I think Liverpool are amazing under Arne Slot, but I'm not sure how they're going to develop. I just got a feeling with the consistency of Arsenal just constantly finishing second, I worry about adding Alexander Isak. So yeah, welcome back to the channel, Football Therapy, with me, the host Jan. I do hope you're doing well. I really do hope that, and we're going to get into it today in Chelsea news. I'll speak about Isak, and also what we should be looking to do. How far away are we? Because probably not that far. When everyone fit and returned, Chelsea actually pretty darn good. So we're going to get into it today. Thanks for joining me as always. If you want to support the content, super simple. Just like and subscribe, baby. Old school YouTuber housework there. Let's get into it. So let's start on Alexander Isak. He's going to cost a lot of money. Of course, he's just won the League Cup, qualifying for at least the Conference League next season with Newcastle. He will cost a lot of money. He's come out recently saying, look, I've won the Cup with Newcastle. He was great in that final. I just want to finish the season strongly, try and finish in the Champions League position. Really generic footballer talk. But we know also, it's been, reported that he wants that move as well. He came out only so recently saying he would like, I think, did he say a Premier League team with a big history in the Champions League? I think he might have said that. I'm just going to double check. Yeah, so he said it here. My main goal is to win the Champions League. If not here, Newcastle, at a club in England with a special history in Europe. Now, Arsenal fans, look away now. Because no matter how big you think your club is, you absolutely do not have a special history in Europe. And that European trophy cabinet is bare. So, you'd love to think Chelsea will speak about, could we sign him? Should we sign him? But a Premier League team with a big history in Europe, it's Liverpool, isn't it? Unfortunately, they've won 6 European Cups. It looks like they'll sell Darwin Nunez he wants to go to Saudi, I think. Maybe Salah goes as well, and they'll just need the goals, basically. And Alexander Isak will supply that. I do think if he goes to Arsenal, who Arsenal are genuine contenders, if he goes there, Arsenal will just turn from that, continual, perpetual second-place team to a Premier League winner. I genuinely do think that because they've got that consistency, that structural robustness that we've seen over 3+ seasons, or 3 seasons now. Big enough sample size to know, it's real, basically. And the Rice and Gabriel and Saliba and and Raya and goal, they're all sort of coming into their prime as well. No reason to assume, think they'll drop off anytime soon. Now, they're not as a young a team as, for example, Chelsea. Chelsea are much younger, or significantly younger, but they're still not one of the oldest teams. They're going into their prime. Arsenal, Bukayo Saka's still early mid-20s. So I just have a feeling you add Alexander Isak, that is big trouble for the Premier League competitors. I do wonder with Liverpool. I find it interesting because Arne Slot, he obviously stumbled. I'm really mindful not to like denigrate his work. That's been excellent, by the way. You know, Jones has been way better under him. The Gravenberg thing's been excellent. Just learning to take a Klopp team and control more. Superb work. Great. Well done, mate. Sound really condescending. Well done, mate. But I just feel like if you look at the number, I think if Salah goes, they'll replace Salah with Isak, which is fine. But also Trent might go. Also Van Dijk might go, and you just don't know how they're gonna continue. And they're unlike Arsenal and certainly unlike Chelsea, they're a lot older as a team, so it's very intriguing. I'd probably be more worried about Isak going to Arsenal than Liverpool personally. But what about Chelsea? So he'll cost a lot of money. Now, of course, these current Chelsea owners have demonstrated they will spend a lot of money. You know, we can reel off already they've spent 100 million, over 100 million on 2 players, you know, over 50 million on multiple players, you know, from your Lavias to your Netos to your Mudriks to your Fofanas. There's a lot. So they will invest a lot. And of course, they love investing. I mean, how much is... I think Esteval might end up around 50 million. But they'll demonstrate they will spend a lot of money. Now, we need a striker, obviously. Now, we all... I don't want to speak for you guys, but I think many fans appreciate Nicholas Jackson, how Chelsea play better when he's in the team, whether he's scoring or not. So he's an important asset. We spent £29 million on him. It's just a great purchase, whether he's playing in the team, whether he's a rotational option. It's a great piece of business in isolation. But we need a striker. We've learned more and more throughout the season. That's very much the case. The brief coming from the club to the likes of Fabrizio Romano and indeed other journalists and broadcasters is Chelsea are going to spend a lot of money on a striker. Now, Alexander Isak's gonna. Let's be real. It's not gonna be. I don't think it's gonna be 150, but I do think it's gonna be a Premier League record. So what's that? We broke it. We've broken it twice recently with Fernandes and Caicedo, so we've got history with this. But it will be probably, I reckon, 120. Realistically, 120. Maybe Newcastle can have. They'll accept 120 if there's a big payment up front. So if the first payment is like 80 million, and then you pay 10 million for the next 4 years on top, I reckon they'd take a deal like that where they get a big lump sum at the beginning, not amortized too much, not spread payments, and then obviously that can really strengthen their financial position, especially if he wants to go. He'll want big wages. Both Arsenal and Liverpool will pay much bigger wages than Chelsea. That's just simply where we are. Obviously, if we finish in the Champions League spot, everyone gets a pay rise at Chelsea. That's how it works. If you're in Europe, you get paid more. If you're not, you don't. Pretty sensible, if you ask me. I kind of personally endorse that payment structure. He's going to want pretty much like parity with Osimhen demands. I think Arsenal pay like Kai Havertz 300k a week or something. Do you know what I mean? They will just pay the extreme wages. I think Liverpool will as well. I know Salah wants big money for a renewal. That's why I'm not necessarily sure it will happen. But he's currently on huge money as well as it is. So Isak, like I said at the top of the video, for me, he's the best striker in the league. Haaland's the best penalty box finisher. But in terms of like playing out on either channel, dropping deep, holding the ball up, or gliding around and dribbling, I think Isak's genuinely got it all. And he's 25 now, so he's got the next contract is the sweet spot for him in his career. I'd love him probably if I could pick any striker in the world. He'd be like, I'm trying to think who else. Like, if we're not talking about like, obviously you wouldn't want a Lewandowski or someone old. And, if you could choose anyone, Mbappe. But Mbappe how's he gonna hold the ball up in the Premier League as a centre forward? I just love Isak. I just feel like he's such a. I'd love to see him at a side that creates more chances as well, like a Chelsea. Obviously, it'll be huge wages. It'll be a huge outlay. Chelsea do like, and again, I've got to be very firm on this because that's my opinion. I do like Liam Delap. I'd be happy with signing him because it would mean we've got Jackson and Delap, 2 proper centre forwards that should make us function like an actual football team. And that's the thing as well, like, Obviously, Delap will take much less wages. It will be hopefully in the sort of mold of Cole Palmer, where you spend like £40 million on him. He goes on like, you double triple his wages, and he's still only on 80-90k a week. Do you know what I mean? Like at Chelsea, so we'll take that, especially with incentive based, bonuses. And you just hope you've bought an absolute, future Premier League striker star, which many people who work in football say he is. So you're sort of like buying ahead of time, rather than spending because Isak's literally at the prime point of sale in terms of revenue. It's the worst time to be a buyer for Isak. Does that make sense if you look at it as a market? So I've been talking about this to loads of other Chelsea fans. If we fill certain positions of need, like a few relatively high profile names, then that's, I suppose, better. Because let's think about it. We got Georgi Petrovic coming back in goal, and maybe for those of us who have been really frustrated and upset with Jorgensen and Sanchez, who knows, maybe next season it's Petrovic with Mike Penders as an understudy, who's just becomes amazing and becomes Chelsea's first choice goalkeeper by the end of next season. Like, stranger things have happened. Of course, you have Reece James back, full-time fitness, hopefully, touch wood, provided Tuchel looks after him, playing fullback for England. Who else? Santos, massive addition, Andre Santos into the midfield. Again, Lavia, hopefully being looked after injury-wise. Huge positive addition, Romeo Lavia in the midfield. Similarly, I've shown you before here on the channel the stats with Wesley Fofana in the team and out. Chelsea are going to buy a centre-back as far as I'm concerned. They've looked at, Dean Howson of Bournemouth. Of course, Mark Guehi is still on the radar, so they will buy probably a right-footed centre-back. And for my money, we need a left back cover, and they want to buy a right-footed winger. And whether that's because Jadon Sancho is going to be sent back, or Mykhailo Mudryk's going to be banned from football, or maybe neither. Maybe they just want another one, and that's what they're going to do. They're going to buy a right-footed winger and a striker. So it's almost like if we generate, let's say, 150 million plus through sales. And that's really a conservative estimate if they do, most of the business they want to. And obviously there's a little bit to spend on top, then you can get a lot of good players to plug those holes. And then suddenly, you've got like Nkunku problem out of your hair. You've got some support and backup to Nico Jackson. Palmer doesn't feel the weight of the world on his shoulders anymore. You don't have an absolute crisis between the sticks and goals anymore. And with the chances created a very good team. And that's also not necessarily breaking the wage structure. Obviously, if Chelsea were to sign Alexander Isak, I'd be buzzing. But it does look like, in terms of where Liverpool and Arsenal are and their willingness to just drop insane wages on these players, but it also can hamstring them as well. So it's not always just as a fan, it's so easy to go, sign the big player on the big wages, especially Chelsea fans, because we had that for a long time. But it's not always the correct and appropriate route. I mean, firstly, let me just nail my colours to the mast. I do think Isak's a banker in terms of scoring, but could you find that productivity and value elsewhere for less money that would in fact allow you to buy a better left-sided winger that makes your team more balanced and just better, You've obviously got to think of the grand scheme of things and, everything like that. So it's less about me being bummed out if Chelsea don't buy Alexander Isak. It's more about the concern and of course he's going to go somewhere. He's already said he wants to stay in the Prem. But, I would genuinely prefer him over Victor Osimhen. And I've spoke to Joey Knight recently. I said Osimhen feels like a Chelsea player in terms of his profile, his attitude, is like a bit of an icon. Victor Gyökeres or whatever, I would just sign Isak above the bunch, but not for 120 million pounds and 300k a week. I would see the grand scheme of things if I'm building a team, trying to spread the finances and understanding that we need a couple of things here and there. But I do think just, even without any signings, it's really worth remembering that just injured players coming back to full fitness and the likes of Andre Santos, Estevar Willian. I don't know if Kendry Paez is going to be used. I still think there might be a loan opportunity there, whether you agree with it or not. Mike Penders and Georgi Petrovic. Just the players coming back, Maresca having a look at everyone and say, right, he's the best, he's the best, he's the best. Keep these guys, add additions here. It will make us a lot better, I think, personally. I don't know, because I'd love us to have that blockbuster striker, but also I would like to be, because I love the way. I'm not going to say Delap's like Cole Palmer, because it'd be silly to do so. But I was so excited when we signed Palmer, and I got so much stick from Chelsea fans here in the comments going, "Why is 40 million wasted?" And I was like, I thought he was really good. I was really excited by that signing. I'm not saying I feel exactly the same by Delap, but I look at Delap play and I'm like, yeah, that is a striker doing things that no one in the Chelsea squad does. So if we sign him for, what will be not a lot of money, in the grand scheme of things, comparatively to other striker options, and he comes good, that will feel ruddy good. Do you know what I mean? And he can develop with the rest of the team. So I would be happy. To be honest, I'd be happy with most strikers. Maybe not Benjamin Šeško. I just don't. I know, like, profile-wise, he kind of suits what we've been looking for in terms of that striker, that Samu, that John Duran. But not for me, mate. I'd rather pretty much all the other guys we've been linked with, to be honest. All right, so let me know what you think. Very interesting. Of course, it's one of the big transfer stories around world football at the moment. What's going to happen to Alexander Isak? I will actually cover non-Chelsea transfers where he goes. If, let's be real, it's probably not going to be Chelsea. I will cover it on Football Yannick, daily uploads on the other channel, my other channel, non-Chelsea content. So do go consider going to support that content as well. But otherwise, keep it locked here, man. I hope you enjoy the football, the international football, and I'll see you soon, hopefully. Peace.